Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Neely by Nature. My name is Neely. On this channel, we talk about so many things from spirituality, law of attraction, social issues, international news, self improvement, self development, and so much more. So, if any of those topics interest you, please remember to hit the subscribe button and support your girl. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and comment below. I love hearing from you guys. So, if this is your first video of mine that you're watching, I'm currently in Costa Rica. I'm living in a eco village in the jungle of Costa Rica, and this is now my third week here, like going on my third week here, and I am adapting. I'm adjusting to being in the jungle and living here and living in this community, coming straight out of New York City. I'm gonna make another video about what my experience has been thus far, just moving straight from New York City to here. I'm not officially, I officially haven't moved here. I'm just visiting, but I've been here. I'm going to be here for a little bit. So I want to update you guys on my process here. And this eco village is also, it teaches you a lot about spirituality and overcoming trauma and doing a lot of inner work and with a lot of teachings via spirituality, so using practices from Hinduism or indigenous cultures, and then kind of creating this eco village. And there's like a bunch of workshops people do here, which is really cool. But that's another video that I will make kind of to give you guys an update on that, because I think I was actually having this thought the other day. I was like, I wish there was more people of color here, because it's important. You can't, I think the goal of spirituality is to come to unity with all species, with all human beings, and create a better world. But if you have a bunch of people of color missing from the equation, missing from creating and solving problems, then we're really not going to get anywhere. So yeah, I'll definitely be making a video about that. But today, I kind of just wanted to make a video about what it means to hold space, because this is something that I've kind of like a phrase that I've been hearing a lot here from a lot of the teachers, the yoga instructors, a lot of the founders here. We had open mic the other night here where people kind of just showed off their talents, and at the end people would just be like, thank you so much for holding space for me. And it was actually really, really beautiful, and I wanted to make a video to be like, to kind of talk about what it means to hold space, because I feel like this is so important. This phrase is so important to our societies, to our culture, to our world, like what it means to actually hold space. And so for me in particular, I believe that holding space for someone is to hold space for them mentally, physically, energetically, emotionally. And you're allowing another person to be vulnerable with you without any judgment. It's holding space for someone because you understand and you're not trying to solve their problems. Like, when people, I feel like in the past, sometimes I would go to people to kind of talk about my problems or kind of, vent. And sometimes I felt like people would offer their opinions and kind of offer, their thoughts, even though I didn't ask for it, and kind of sometimes cross a boundary, right? Where it's just like, that's not really what I came to you for. And I think that when you hold space for someone, you're allowing that person to just simply be vulnerable, to be who they are and accept them for who they are. And I think that is so important for us to do that as a whole, as a collective, because it's so much of ego in our society where it's just like, and ego doesn't have to always show up in one type of form. It doesn't have to show up as an I'm better than you. It can also just show up even in spirituality itself, like people believing that they're more educated in spirituality than you are, or feel like they can kind of provide you solutions to your problems, even though they don't know necessarily the entire problem, or they don't necessarily understand the issue. But because, you know, they feel like you came to them to kind of talk about your issues, then that must mean that you wanted their advice, or just their thoughts. And in actuality, you just wanted comfort. And I think that is what it means to hold space. And I found that, you know, even in relationships sometimes, right? Relationships with others doesn't necessarily have to be a partner. It could be sometimes a parent. Sometimes there's so much friction and tension between people in relationships because no one's holding space for each other. No one's trying to understand each other. Everyone's trying to win the argument. Both parties want to be right. And when you hold space for someone, you understand why they are the way they are. You understand their trauma. You understand, oh, this is why they have trouble communicating, because they went through this. And I think that's holding space. It's being understanding. It's, you know, putting aside your ego to allow someone else to be. And when you do that, I think that naturally, because we are living in a world of attraction, naturally the other person also holds space for you, you know, because there's so much unconditional love in holding space for someone else and letting someone else be who they want to be. And I think we live in such a world where we want to mold people into what we think that they should be. You shouldn't be doing this, you should be doing this. And everyone has an opinion, even about things that they have no actual knowledge about. You know, people want to have opinions about everything. It's like, you don't need to have an opinion on this. Like, I don't have opinions on law. I don't understand law in that depth. I don't have opinions on, I don't have strict opinions on science, because I don't know that much. I'm not going around telling people, advocating for medicine. It's not my field. I don't have an opinion, because there's people who actually study this as their profession, and we should allow that person to be, right? And I think when we talk about holding space, it's really vital to creating like a really just world. It's really vital in creating equality all around, because we're allowing people to show up. And when you allow people to show up as they are, and you provide comfort, when you provide acceptance, I think naturally it works in your favor as well, right? Because this person then feels comfortable to allow you to be who you are. And you just start to naturally attract that. You're attracting people who are on the same wavelength, that they're showing up for you, that they're holding space for you. I think sometimes, especially in places like US, and I can only speak from my experience because I've only lived in the US my whole life, but the US is such an individualistic society. It's so much about me. This is happening to me. People hurt me. Life is happening to me, and problems are happening to me, and challenges are happening to me. And it's just like, life is not happening to you. It's just happening. Problems are not happening to you. It's just happening. And I think that, my previous video actually talked about this, about being the main character, and how that kind of sometimes, of course you are the main character, it's your life. Feel like sometimes people read the headline of a video and don't actually watch the video. Yes, you are obviously the main character of your life, but I think when you become so self-absorbed in like life happening to you, you kind of forget to like hold space for other people. You kind of forget to have empathy and compassion for others. And then you end up, in a whirlwind, and you fall into depression, and you feel you start to feel resentment towards others, and you realize in the end that it was all self-inflicting. So I just wanted to make this really quick, short video about like what it means to hold space, just to allow others to be vulnerable with you, and to not, you know, try to interject your problem solving skills when someone comes to you with their problems, or if you're going through a rough patch with a friend or family member or whoever, a partner, that you allow that person to do what they need to do without you judging them. I think sometimes we get in our head when we fight with a friend or a partner or whoever, and we get into our minds about us being right. We are right. We are right. And it's like, sometimes when you can actually try to understand the other person, even if you don't believe that they're right or wrong, I think that you can actually, I think you can actually heal a situation like that, because you're coming from a place of pure love. And when you come from a place of pure love for someone else, you know already then you've achieved that same self-love for yourself. I've had arguments with people in my friends, my family, whatever, and I think I've gotten to a place where it's just like, that's who you are, and this is who I am, and I don't, even though I might not understand your opinion or your side of the story, I accept it. I accept you for who you are, and I'm going to hold space for you. And I think when you can do that for others, you can do it to yourself. I think people in the US, they really struggle with self-love, and that's because how we're defining self-love, it's through material things. It's through a thing that we acquire, and that thing that we acquire becomes our self-love for ourselves. Like, it becomes a validation for our own self-love. So like, you acquire like a great job. Oh, I love myself. I was able to acquire this great job. Or I'm in a relationship with this amazing person. This person's validating my own self-love. And money, like, I acquired this money. I have so much self-love for myself because I was able to get this money. And it's like, things outside of you cannot give you the validation that you are valid, that you are loved. Only you can do that. And so how many people I meet, especially in first world countries, people who are struggling with self-worth, self-love, it's because they're not actually holding space for themselves, right? When you hold space for yourself, you can hold space for others. And holding space just means that you're compassionate to yourself, that you're kind to yourself, that you're listening to yourself, that you're allowing yourself to be, you're letting yourself feel without judgment. You're not judging yourself. You're not your worst critics. And I think sometimes we can be the meanest to ourselves. We can be the worst people to ourselves. And then we realize, how we treat ourselves is how we treat others sometimes, right? Or how we allow others to treat us. So I just wanted to make this really short video. I don't know how long I've been talking, but I just wanted to make this video to talk about like what it means to hold space, and making sure that, you hold space for yourself so that you can hold space for others. And if you really want to achieve like wholeness and completion within yourself, start practicing holding space. And you can do baby steps, just like, when a friend comes to you with their problems, maybe not, try to find solutions. I feel like before, when a friend would come to me with problems, I would be like, this is what you're supposed to do. And it's like, now when I look back, and it's like, I wish I just let my friend be, I wish I just let them talk to me and feel comfortable to talk to me without providing a solution, or acting like I had the answers. Like, of course, if your friend asks, for your opinion, then yeah, great, share your opinion. But if they're not asking for your opinion, then don't say anything. Just show up and be there for them. And when I say hold space, it doesn't have to necessarily just be in that way. Like, It could be, you know, we had an open mic the other night and people were showing up with their talents, and people who are like stage fright and don't feel comfortable, you know, talking or, you know, performing in front of a group of people. But the fact that a bunch of people just sat there and cheered them on and like gave them support, that was a form of holding space. Or if you're in a relationship with someone who, you know, they have issues and you know that they love you, but, you know, they have to get through their shit first, instead of taking what they're doing personally and feeling like, you know, this person's not treating me right and this person's fucked up. Maybe just hold space and be understanding that it has nothing to do with you, it has more to do with them, and that you're going to do your best to just hold space and support them silently. Holding space doesn't mean that you're there in their face trying to support them. It's just acknowledgement. It's just silently sometimes holding space for someone in your heart. You know, it doesn't have to be necessarily or physically doing something for a person. It's just you understand. And there's no judgment, there's no hurt, there's no animosity, there's no resentment. It's just pure love. So I just wanted to make this video. This was a phrase that kept coming up this past 2 weeks in this eco village that I'm at, and I thought it was really beautiful. And I thought about all the ways that I could apply holding space in my life and holding it for myself so that I could do a better job holding space for others. So that's all I really wanted to talk about today. Let me know what you guys thought about this video and your thoughts about holding space. You know, I know we all struggle with it, and it takes practice, but, you know, obviously when someone hurts you, your first instinct isn't going to be, let me hold space. But I think over time you start to practice it and you bring awareness to your ego, you know, trying to be right and trying to defend yourself and being defensive. You can really get yourself to this place of like peace and love, and that's kind of the hope for all of us, right? So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you guys at my next video. I'll probably do one about what it's like living in the eco village. So I will see you guys soon. Bye.